Welcome, welcome everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I know that you are coming from different parts of the world, which is the beauty of URI world. We are so happy that you decide to spend 1.5 hours today with us, discussing about light, about us being the light in the world, and also discussing about all festivities as we are entering the month of December. Once again, huge thank you to Wanda for accepting the role, to doing translation to the Spanish, and if more colleagues will come, we will navigate them to the translation button. And Benvedito Rosalia, I hope that you will enjoy listening Spanish, since my Spanish is limited to the few words. And there is more people coming, so we will be welcoming and admitting them today. So the topic of today, the last for this year, community call, interfaith community call, is Be the Light. And we welcome all of you as a lights in today's world, and we will be exploring the light, the concept of the light, the beauty of the light, and we hope that at the end of the call we will find the light in each of us, and that with that spirit we will continue towards the end of this month and into the next year. So welcome all of you who are joining us later. We also invite you, of course, to use the chat option to introduce yourselves, to meet other colleagues. Maybe you see some familiar faces that you want to say hi, or maybe some new ones that you would like to connect with. So this is beautiful opportunity to connect with the dear colleagues and to meet the new ones. And in that regard, as I said, as we enter the month of the December, as you know, this is usually the month of festivity. A lot of holidays and celebration are happening in this month, and somehow December is famous or known as the month of the light. And there is so many festivities around the concept of the light, a light in our religion, a light in our lives, a light that is bringing the new seasons, the new life, and we want to highlight this and to reflect on this. So I would like to show you just two very quick slides in which we will be shortly discussing about interfaith or faith festivities, and then we will have more time to discuss about our roles, our reflection on the light, and some upcoming events, and to celebrate some gifts that our community received this year. So in that regard, allow me to share my screen with you. I hope that you will be able to see the screen. Okay, so as you know, the
Reina,
topic is, yes?
please let's slow down the conversation and also, yes, now the image is showing. It was not showing before.
Okay, so I hope that you see the image and that you see this light effect that I put it there. So bear with me, I'm not professional when it comes to the designing or anything like that, but our idea was to show the light and to invite all of you to reflect on Be the Light, and to welcome again you to this global interfaith community call with the topic of the light. As I said, this month is very famous for the lot of festivities that are happening, and I'm sure that we miss so many on the screen, but we wanted to mention few of them that are happening this month, that are connected to the different spiritual and religious background. So some of them are like Body Day from the Buddhism that will be celebrated on the 8th of the December, and this is celebration of the Buddha enlightenment. Of course, the Christmas, very popular one, coming from the Christianity, and the end of this month on the 25th of the December, commemorating the birth of the Jesus Christ as a light to the world, and has been celebrated all over the world before the new year. Then we have the Jewel from the paganism tradition, celebrated on the 21st of the December. That is the marking the winter solstice and the return of the longer days. As you know, more light is coming in the end of this month, and as we are approaching New Year. Then, of course, we have Hanukkah, that is this year from the Judaism tradition, that this year begins on the 25th of December. the same day as Christmas. And once again, the beauty of interfaith and overlapping and having different celebration happening in the same time. And this is the 8th day celebration. And we also have Kwanzaa, which is African American cultural holiday that is starting at the end of the December, the 26th of the December, and it will last till the beginning of the next year, till the January 1st, and it is focusing on unity, resilience, and a shared light within the communities. So all of these holidays have the one common theme, which is the light, and which is the theme of our call. So I will just stop sharing my screen right now, and I want to invite all of you, who of you are celebrating some of the holidays presented on the screen. If you can like raise your hand, show the sign, put the heart or whatever, we just want to see who is on the screen celebrating some of the holidays that has been mentioned in our one slide presentation. Okay, Akidi is giving us some hearts. This is great that you will be celebrating some of the holidays. Sally, I'm sure that Morgana will celebrate as well. And I see some nodding and other smiley faces. Okay, Muse giving us thumbs up. This is great. But I'm sure, yeah, Samira is sending us love. So I'm sure there is a lot of you who will be celebrating, and I'm also sure that we missed so many of the holidays. So please feel free to share it in a chat, or if you want, just unmute yourself and share with us if we miss some of the holidays celebrating the light that may happening this month that we just oversee in our short presentation. If there is something that we miss. And yeah, we also love the stars that Diana shared.
This is Lynn. Can you hear me?
Yes, Lynn, welcome. We can hear you, please.
Thank you. There's interfaith hand-to-hand schools. We have language apps. It's really time now to get new public school systems. We're up against these Christian nationalists that are really evil. The situations, what's going on in the USA. And they are, yeah. So as far as celebrating the light, there's a group too. They actually did start, I call them there's a Jewish Baha'i and the Muslims and the Christians that are trying to get these new systems in place for education. Since we have language apps and they've started and no one knows about it, interfaith hand-to-hand schools. We have mystery schools. We need massive trade schools. You teach kids how to build, not kill. We need and fix things, and we need the schools for mystery schools. There's turnaround art schools, there's Waldorf schools, and there are Montessori schools. We need these free public schools immediately because we have language apps to start bringing in the light to the cities, to nextcities.org, and they're on the nextcities.org are here to bring in the cities of enlightenment, peace, and green. And all of you youth, the library started civicaction.org to help us bring in these new systems and for education and job creation programs. And I'll have
Great.
some more. I'll put it in the links. Okay, thank you.
Yes, please. Thank you. Thank you, Lynn, for sharing. And yes, you don't need to have particular holiday, but we can celebrate the light and the positive projects and everything that is bringing. And thank you, Lynn, for sharing this. And it's great to hear that interfaith community is coming together and to bring the light despite some negative things that may happening in society. And that is great. And I saw that Rosalia has her hand up. So if you would like to share something that maybe we missed from the indigenous community, please use this opportunity and invitation for all of you also to switch to the English translation option in our Zoom boxes. So Rosalia, would you like to share something or you just accidentally raised your hand?
Rosalía, ¿quieres compartir algo que levantaste la mano? probably afterwards.
Yeah. Uh,
Samira.
yeah, but
Yeah.
Samira would like to share. Yes, Samira, welcome.
Hi, everyone. I am delighted to be talking about different celebrations that await us in December. I come from a Muslim background, and so this year in December, I don't have anything big to celebrate as a Muslim, but that does not mean that I'm not looking forward to sharing the joy with my friends of different faiths. I wish to share a very important tradition with everyone today that is about sharing the light of Christmas with a good friend of mine who always invites his friends from all different beliefs, from all different spheres of life, to join him on his Christmas celebration. We don't manage to gather on December 25th, but traditionally we always gather on December 27th. And it became such a big deal that we plan our holidays, our trips around that date, and we try to be there every single year. And there is, even though I don't personally celebrate Christmas the way he does, but there is something about the community and the light that I experience when I come into his home and celebrate with his family. And the smallest gifts that I'm able to present to his family during Christmas really brings that Christmas joy and enriches my life that way, which is a wonderful thing about interfaith. We don't have to celebrate the exact same holidays or follow the exact same tradition, but that does not prevent us from being able to share the joy that each of these um, um, light celebrations bring to us. It's such a joy and such a wealth that certainly that's one of the traditions that I, inshallah, plan on nurturing with younger family members and to continue sort of spreading that type of joy. And yeah, I try to do the same around Ramadan and Eid when the time comes, but in December, I look forward to December 25th and 27th to celebrate with my friends.
This is beautiful. Thank you very much for sharing and me being part of that circle. When I was in Bosnia, I have so fond memories of it, and I just want to let you know that those people that Samira talking about are all part of the URI community. We don't need to name that, but I'm sure that all of you will recognize who the person behind bringing everyone together in these spaces. So thank you, Samira. It's lovely that you shared that. And with this, and thank you all for bringing your lights and your tradition, I will give floor to the Maria so that we can continue with the next part of our agenda. Thank you all.
Thank you. And we registered, we're about 70 people, and we are a smallest group. We don't know what technology and busy days are for us. So just as if you can complete a sentence that says, I celebrate, and say what you celebrate as we go around. You can speak about what feast you celebrate, or what feeling you celebrate, or what person you celebrate. So just complete the sentence, I celebrate. And Sally, you are beside me and on screen.
I celebrate courage, courage of the heart. Never give up, no matter what.
Beautiful, Sally. Abraham.
Yeah, we celebrate Christmas, and it is a big festivity time for us. All the families come together, and in so many groups we celebrate. It almost lasts a week.
Nice. It looks more Jewish than Christian, right? A whole week of celebration.
Yeah.
Edwin, what do you celebrate?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, wonderful. So here we celebrate our unity and the joy of Christmas, because here in especially in Kibra, we have been having a lot of religious conflict, mostly between the Muslims and the Christians. But now through the interfaith interreligious dialogue and the activities that we do together, because we had conflicts about, mostly it is about who Jesus Christ is, because people were arguing that Christ is a prophet, others they are saying is a son of God. But now as Undugu Family CC, we told people now there are good values in Jesus in the Quran, there are good values in Jesus in the Bible. So why don't we now, instead of arguing who Jesus Christ is, let us become brothers and sisters of Jesus. Let us now, Jesus be our friend. Isa and Jesus, the son of Maryam, let us be his friends, work together to solve the problems and challenges that we have here in the slums of Kibra. So in all the activities that you have been doing together, like feeding the children, helping them being in school, taking care of our environment. So this is the time that we are celebrating what we have been doing together as a family and as brothers and sisters of Jesus, who is now coming as the light. As Christians, we're celebrating that the light is coming on the world. So we will have Christmas celebration together with all the religions that we have, as we always do also during Eid. So we are celebrating our unity and the humanity that we have.
Thank you. Love celebrating unity. Diana, what do you celebrate?
Well, I celebrate, coming from Brittany and France, I celebrate both Christmas and the solstice, because solstice for the Bretons is very important. So with my mother and sister, we usually celebrate Yule or solstice, and then we go to Christmas Mass and all that. So that's what I do.
Beautiful, Diana. It has to do with your identity. Morgana,
Mhm.
what do you celebrate? Just try to keep to the sentence. I celebrate.
Yeah, I've just written it in the in the chat. We celebrate Yule, winter solstice, in the northern hemisphere, just like Diana. And at the moment of the longest night, we're reminded, of course, that the light will return if we also call the light, and also if we respect. And so for many of us, it's the promise of returning light and our commitment to that promise, to make that vow, and our commitment to the earth and the sun and the moon and all living creatures. Thank you.
Thank you, Morgana. And I see that, Samira, you wrote it in the, but you can say it now?
Yeah, I celebrate my community in December.
Beautiful. Andy.
I celebrate positive energy and respect. And I come from a very interfaith culture, so I celebrate almost everything. So I'm celebrating all of you.
Thank you, Angie. Dr. John? You are muted, Dr. John. We'll pass, and we will leave our dear Global Council Chair, Eric, for the end. So I pass to, yes, John.
Can I talk now?
Yeah,
sorry.
What do you celebrate?
I celebrate positive energy through my faith, that is Christianity, and unite every other faith because they represent the light. And the light is something very positive and brings us a lot of energy.
Beautiful. Thank you, John. Sarah?
I'll be celebrating Christmas, but particularly thinking about connection with community and care for those most vulnerable.
Thank you, Sarah. You all? Francisco? ¿Celebras? ¿Qué celebras estos días?
Hola, buenas. ¿Hay traducción, María?
Sí, all those that want to listen to Francisco, go to English channel, please. Francisco, cortito, ¿qué celebras estos días?
Yo celebro la familia, el encuentro con uno mismo y principalmente ahora, más que nunca, siempre, el diálogo interreligioso.
Gracias, Francisco. Rosalía.
Hola María, bueno, gracias por la invitación. Primero, celebro este hermoso día de reunirnos todos juntos para hablar de la celebración. En los pueblos indígenas celebramos la llegada del verano y la cosecha de lo que hemos sembrado. Gracias.
Gracias, Rosalía. Niti, we celebrate that you are in URI community now as the regional coordinator for West and North India. What do you celebrate these days?
I celebrate my ancestors and their energy and paying gratitude to them.
Thank you, Niti.
Thank you.
Wanda, Wanda is in the channel, so perhaps you can write. Musi, what do you celebrate?
I celebrate the interdependence of the web of all life forms on the universe.
Thank you. Akiri? Emmanuel, what do you celebrate these days? Akiri, yeah, please go.
I celebrate Christmas.
Beautiful. That's the light. Bhavya, you put it on in the chat. Do you want to say something?
Yeah, basically in India, we believe there are 5 elements in universe. So I mostly celebrate all of that every day, I can say, with water, fire, ether. So I mostly celebrate that. I love few elements there, like water and fire is very important for our growth on a daily basis, actually. So every day I celebrate. When I bath, I celebrate water. When I cook, I celebrate fire. When I go outside, I celebrate the sky. So it's like daily festival. And in India, we say there is a daily festival here. We are a very
every day, right? India
every day
has a
we have
lot
some
of
kind
feasts.
of festival happening here. So most of the time we put our regards to the 5 elements which make everything kind of. And it also traveled to Buddhism. Like there's a 5 elements in Hinduism, but it traveled to Buddhism. Then we say there are 6 elements there, like Mahabhuti, we say it.
Beautiful.
So,
thank you, Bhavya. Emmanuel, are you able to unmute yourself? This is French probably for Emmanuel. So Eric, can you help us telling Emmanuel if he can come? Okay. Okay. So Leila, what do you celebrate?
Oh, I celebrate all these beautiful peace builders and individuals who are bringing peace as sparkles of light in today's world.
Thank you, Leila. I celebrate the light that is in each of you. And when I have this Christmas crib, I love to put all my friends in the light of the world. And thank you for that. And now we go to someone we are celebrating these days, that is our newly elected chair of the Global Council. Eric, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Maria. Sorry for coming late. I still can appreciate all the celebrations that you are talking about. I will personally celebrate Christmas with my father, who is still alive, so I have to celebrate the family by going there. In my birthplace in Corsica, in November, we also celebrate Saint Andrew. And it's quite interesting because Saint Andrew is the one who comes to offer food to the people who don't have. And at the end of all the season, when you to take all the food from the earth. People put the food on tables, and the poor people can come without being stigmatized and pick on the food for the winter. So it's a way to give without having to stigmatize poor people. I guess it's a kind of story that is related to what we are doing. And of course, in a personal way, I celebrate also light in two manners. One is very material. I love long sunny days. So when the period comes, it's a way to celebrate the fact that even if these days are rainy and very short and nights come at 5 p.m., you know that long days will come back. And so it gives future. And if you have future, you have everything because you have hope. And that's a kind of light. But the light can also be taken in a more traditional way, as every faith, mainly every faith, associates light with good things. And I'm not going to go into all the list of good things that light is associated with, but I would say that when we speak about light, we speak about understanding. We shed light on something, meaning we get it more understandable. We speak about love. We speak about truth. And all these things, honestly, are to be celebrated. And what is most important for me nowadays is that when we say be the light, it's not only individually be the light, meaning that each of us, of course, it's better to be the light than to have the light. Because when you have the light, you are dependent on something external. When you are the light, then everywhere you go, you bring more understanding, more love, more compassion, more truth. But look at us. In URI, we do that, but we also are the light together. And I guess it's so much powerful. I mean, we are here, we are a very little group of people representing a very big group of people if we talk about URI. We are just a sample. And still, we come from all parts of the world. And we come from all traditions, all faiths that we can find in the world. And we are here and we share the same goal. And it's a light goal. It's a goal of shedding the light on earth. It's a goal of bringing truth, bringing healing, bringing everything good that we want to bring to others. And from all, I think it's super good to see each other and thinking we are all aligned on this, and that when we will leave that meeting, we will still be together in each part of the world, bringing light everywhere. So that's all that would be what I would celebrate. And I would encourage us to be the light, not only individually, but all together on a collaborative manner as we do. Thank you.
Beautiful, Eric. And this is a perfect segue to this coming part of the session is to see and to recognize that we are doing a lot of efforts as a collective community to bring light to ourselves, to our communities, but also to the world. We know that Walter was very young when he designed URI logo, and he said that when religions of the world get together and do their best as a community, the circle will expand into a star that gives light to the whole world. And 25 years later, or 27, I think, or 8, since Walter created the URI logo, we are trying to be the light. And Diana is going to share some of the highlights of the light in 2024. Thank you, Diana.
So every year, thank you very much, Maria. Every year, URI produces an annual report, and we take the opportunity to highlight some of the efforts that were done over the year, and also the stories from our various cooperation circles and their impact on the world. So I just wanted to share with you, I will put the link to this part of our website in the chat, but I'm just going to share you segments of this the impact report with you from that we produced. So this year we are standing strong. We're trying to end violence and heal together. And I invite you to read the various segments. We have a beautiful quote from our Global Council trustee, Salika Dasa from Nigeria. As we weave a dream of hope, let us remember that ending violence is not a choice. It is our collective duty. Together, we can co-create a world where love triumphs over hatred. Salika, if you do not know him, brings a lot of light into our community and also into all our conversations at as a Global Council trustee. We are reminded of our beautiful purpose to promote enduring daily interfaith cooperation, to end religiously motivated violence, and to create cultures of peace, justice, and healing for the earth and all living being. Our network is standing strong these days. 1,190 cooperation circle, 113 countries, over 250,000 members, representing 340 religions at least. These are the ones that we have, basically that we know about. And so we've put the stories that we've collected, and these are just some stories. This is just a little snippet of who we are. Under each one of the segments of our purpose, and it's for us to learn more about what the efforts are in each one of them. We also have the latest financials and where we work in the world, and the leadership, as well as you can also go back to the URI main website on here. Let me just show you very quickly where we work in the world. It's really a beautiful thing to have all these lights out there shining brightly, and looking forward in 2025 to have so many more coming to join us. We also talk about the impact that we had on violence prevention, and some of the efforts that were done in Honduras, in Nigeria, and in Sri Lanka, just to name a few. So thank you so much for all your work out there related to ending religiously motivated violence and violence prevention. Some of the stories are highlighted here, and you might recognize some of these stories. You might recognize yourself in these stories. We have a story of Cosmos Vision, a book that was published by Latin America 2 years ago, and we still, want to highlight this beautiful story. We have stories from Henry Muhindo from Uganda talking about his personal trace in life and how he is impacting the world. Ashari from Pakadai in cooperation circles. These are all videos that you can watch and enjoy. These are also stories from all around the world. This is just a little view of all the lights that shine out there in our world. And if you would like to see who our leaders are on the Global Council, you will see Eric Rue, the chair, as well as everyone who is representing the various regions, as well as our at-large trustees, treasurer, and vice chair. So this gives you an idea of everything that we represent, and we would not be URI without the help of all our cooperation circles. So thank you so very much for everything that you do out there.
Thank you, Diana. Individual members, cooperation circles, persons that bring the light to the world through the work that they are doing. I allow Larissa to get in and calm down, and so that she shares a little bit of a light that is happening through violence prevention. And so, Sarah, would you, or Angie, who is going to share about the app today?
Yes, thank you. We are very excited to finally inching closer to launching our most awaited app. We are going to share a little slide to give you a taste of what is this app Angie and everyone have been talking about for a few months now. And some of you are already in the app, actually. So we are doing a staggered rollout phases. And right now we have our community facilitators and staff and global council in the app already, and we are loving it. So hopefully we can invite more people very, very soon to be on the app. Sarah, if you can help sharing the slide.
And
Yes.
Angie, while the slides come in, I said, well, how much light it goes from my phone through the app. And when I see next year, we will have all our friends of URI in the app. And so I wonder if my phone will kind of become bright, and a light will come from there because the URI app is open in my phone.
Yes, absolutely. And that is why we want to have this app to have a very intentioned space to spread the light even better. And we really want to create and collaborate and share through a very specifically designed app. We have been working very tirelessly the past year. And if you can see a little snippet of how our app looked like, we're going to have communities. Communities are pretty much what you have in your Facebook called groups. So we will have separate communities like CPAC, or the action areas like the youth, earth restoration, and we will have regional communities as well. So Europe, Asia, Africa. So each community will have a community facilitator as well, to facilitate conversations, start very mindful questions and prompts to get our collaborations going. We can have conversations, but also we can share events, and events include everything else that's going on in your community, regionally, locally, and globally that you want to share with us, not only URI-based events. We are able to also create offers and asks, which we can offer something like Pilates class or Tai Chi class, or we can ask for, hey, do you have an information, or if you can direct us to some resources. We really want to have peer-to-peer collaboration going with this feature. And then the very special thing is we want to foster mindful and restorative dialogue, even when we are conversing on social media, quote unquote. So to have a conversation, we intentionally want our members, our community members, to slow down and be intentional in responding, especially online. So before we comment on a post, we are going to click our intention. So our intentions will be represented by symbols. So whether you are supporting, praying, taking action, giving a new view, or co-creating, this one extra step before you comment will be that take a pause moment that we always encourage in avoiding hate speech and facilitating mindful conversations. And I think this is what really makes our app special, because this is a symbol of our interfaith communities. So we will share the slide so you can also go through how to use the intention symbol and what these mean for you. Yes, and as I mentioned, we are gearing up towards welcoming more of you in the app. And if you can see, every time I'm talking about the app, my face just lights up. So hopefully, Maria, you're right that this app can actually be a vehicle to spread this light even into our daily life more. And I'm sure Sarah will have some to add into my excitement.
Thanks, Angie. Yes, there's a lot of excitement around this, and it is coming January 2025 for the entire network. But since we are in the spirit and the month of giving, we have a special gift for those of you on the call. Some of you are already part of the kind of early access group that are testing out the app. But as a gift for being here on the call, if you would like early access to the app, we invite you to write your name and email address in the chat, and you will receive an email next week inviting you to join a kind of early testing phase group of the app. So as a thank you for being here on the community call as well, if you're not already included in that test phase of early adopters, we invite you to share your name and email address if you would like to be part of sort of early access to the app before it launches for the entire network in 2025. Cool.
Wow, that's a huge present. So you are going to be the first to join the app. That's amazing. And we have people from Kenya and from Uganda and from North America and from Asia. So it's going to be and from Latin America, of course. It's going to be just a joy to be together early on the app and see the light that we are and that URI is in the world. And talking about light, sometimes light has to be in the midst of darkness. And I believe that light is stronger than darkness. So we have Larissa to tell us how the light is spreading in URI through violence prevention.
Yes, the good news is that we will not be talking about any darkness. I know that there's often darkness associated with violence, but my presentation is very positive and uplifting. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Can everyone see? Can everyone see my screen?
We do, Larissa. Yes,
okay.
I love that you are sharing light. That's
perfect.
giving.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of the participants on the panel. It has been a really amazing and productive year for the Department of Partnership and Violence Prevention at URI. We have been incredibly busy in launching a variety of transformative initiatives, strengthening partnerships, and really deepening our violence prevention programming and impact globally. So I wanted to share a few of our successes and lessons learned from the work from this past year. I know I have a short amount of time, so this is by no means an exhaustive list, but I just wanted to offer a couple success stories from the regions that really show and showcase the importance of violence prevention initiatives. So the first, of course, is our global campaign to end violence. So one of our major highlights this year has been the official launch of the global campaign. It is an ambitious campaign with 3 goals, which is to reduce violence, transform harmful narratives, and support healing from violence, right? So we've been able to achieve this, and we are in the process of really starting and launching. through targeted specific training of members, of CCs, of regional staff, of cultivating holistic partnerships and engaging youth, Indigenous, and other effective community leaders. And of course, at the center of everything we do at URI is empowering cooperation circles, right? So CCs and our individual members all over the world will really begin localizing and adapting the campaign to their own contexts, right? So we've already engaged quite a few influential partners, and we've surveyed aspiring leaders throughout the network who bring a variety and depth of diverse skills and talents to this effort. And with their help, the campaign is poised to really make a lasting impact across our global network. So this here is just an example of a survey. Several respondents shared the diverse skills and talents that they are intentionally bringing as part of their leadership efforts to this campaign. So I wanted to share a few regional training programs and highlights with you. So this is just an overview. I know it's a lot of information. I'll dive into them. I wanted to spotlight Nigeria. We've had quite a few regional successes in the spreading of the health approach to violence prevention. And it's been really wonderful for Karen and I to see that the regions have really taken leadership and ownership of the health approach methodology and other violence prevention methodologies. So they've really made it their own, which was our goal from the very beginning. In Nigeria, under the, I would say, exceptional leadership of Emmanuel Iborgba, we've seen incredible outcomes. So we had a training last year that empowered 125 or so religious leaders, educators, law enforcement, and various NGO representatives. And in 2024, that momentum has not only continued, but it's really, I would argue, quadrupled, right? Or it has really, really become an exponential success. Participants have carried out specific community-specific action programs. They've achieved 15% reduction in rates of violence in the communities that they've been active in, 32% increase in reporting and intervention of cases of violence, which is huge in under a year. We really are so grateful to Emmanuel and to all of the CCs and members that have been a part of this training that have really been able to implement effective violence prevention programming in their communities. I wanted to also spotlight India. We've had quite a few programs in India that have really taken off. We're incredibly grateful to Bishwadeb and to Abraham's leadership. Our work in India has made significant strides. In February of this year, URI East India trained about 12 or so participants in the health approach and worked with about 10 peace activists from the conflict-affected Manipur region on the border of India and Myanmar. This training combined health approach as well as William Urie's third side methodology, and it really fostered collaboration among very initially resistant participants who later began forming a coalition and a CC to address the violence in Manipur. And as well in South India, last year, 40 peace builders have been trained as part of, I believe, a 3-year plan to reach over 100 individuals and have this train the trainers type of programming, which really to us demonstrates the incredible potential of grassroots activists in peace building and in particular youth, because Abraham has spearheaded a program dedicated to youth. There's another spotlight I wanted to share. This is one that's close to my heart and I think close to your heart, Maria, as we worked on it together. Our first engagement in Honduras. So this program was funded by a private donor. It has really been groundbreaking for us, and we've been able to achieve so many amazing violence prevention initiatives in such a short amount of time with the help of local partners. So since April, over 200 and counting. I believe that's a very low estimate because our CCs are continuing amazing work in Honduras. But over 200 people have been introduced to the health approach and violence prevention methodologies at URI, leading to 2 new CCs in the countries, and I want to say 4 CC applications. Maria, you can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but that's my latest 4, perfect. And programming in over 10 communities across 7 out of the 18 departments in Honduras. This is a massive spreading of a violence prevention and health approach methodologies and showcasing the work of URI in a country that we had quite literally zero presence in before we were able to get boots on the ground there. And additionally, we hosted URI's first Indigenous gathering, bringing together, first Indigenous gathering by and for Indigenous, bringing together 30 Indigenous participants from 17 communities across 8 countries. And I want to give a special shout out and thank you to Rosalia Gutierrez, who has been an absolute hero for us, and she's been the guiding light for us in this Indigenous gathering, and we're so incredibly grateful to her guidance and her wisdom, and she's instrumental in the success of the continued work on Indigenous through URI. And we are looking to continue to expand this work throughout Central America. We've applied to another grant from that donor to be able to expand our reach in Central America and really get deeper into the violence prevention work in Central America, starting with Honduras and expanding out. I also wanted to spotlight Sri Lanka. We've had quite a bit of momentum thanks to Ravi's leadership. We've trained 80 participants from diverse religious backgrounds using the health approach as well as other community-based methodologies. Post-training evaluation showed 100% improvement in the understanding of conflict versus violence, which is incredibly important piece of understanding that we all need to have. And feedback has also highlighted the effectiveness of the health approach, right? Participants really expressed a clear hunger for longer, carefully thought out trainings, underscoring the demand for deeper engagement in the region, right? So we're going to be looking at that for our work plans for 2025 and beyond. And the last regional spotlight I wanted to highlight, this one is also an interesting one. In Cameroon, we don't have any regional staff in Cameroon. However, this training came about and was inspired by one of our CCs, the Family Health and Development Foundation. They've led an incredibly impactful violence prevention program in a variety of communities in Cameroon. So in June, they actually trained community leaders to address rising violence in the regions and developed and implemented plans for village outreach. So we can learn quite a bit from them and from how they've adapted the health approach in their context to really understand how to reach hard-to-reach communities with low literacy rates, communities that don't have access to technology, those communities that really need the help and are often ignored or not taken into consideration. Right. So this bottom-up approach really emphasizes the power of our grassroots action and has been really instrumental in informing how best URI can support our network and our CCs. So we're grateful to the Family Health and Development Foundation for really taking charge of this methodology because it's been incredibly successful in Cameroon. And then I wanted to share a few lessons learned. So this year has taught us quite a bit of critical lessons about the implementation and impact of violence prevention programming. The most important thing is that we need to have tailored approaches, right? So these programs thrive when they are adapted to the local needs and contexts. We also really thrive on participant feedback, right? So our participant feedback thus far has been that there's a high demand for multi-day systemized trainings for deeper impact. And then we also learned that empowering local community and religious leaders, traditional chiefs, community influencers is really the key to expanding understanding of the health approach and violence prevention. And then there's also a growing recognition and a cultural shift that as violence as a public health issue, right? And as violence as something that we as individuals can work towards eliminating and actually preventing before it happens. That's been the most impactful measurement of our success, is that so many more members of our community have now shifted their thinking of violence as inevitability to violence as something that can be prevented before it takes place. So we're very enthused and excited about that change in shift and norms in our community. And now looking ahead for 2025, we have pretty lofty goals for 2025, and we think we'll be able to achieve them with the support and help of our network and our regional partners. We'd like to regionalize and decentralize access to violence prevention methodologies, including the health approach and others, right? So we really want to support the regions to take a hold of this methodology. We want to expand the capacity of CCs to be able to mentor and train others in violence prevention so that it's not necessarily coming from middle out. We want it to really become a bottom-up approach. So we'd really like to put our effort towards supporting CCs in these endeavors, strengthening collaborations with regional offices and CCs. So ideally, Karen and I would like at least one or ideally a handful of people in each of the regional offices, regional leadership teams, to really understand the health approach and other violence prevention methodologies so that it can really come from the region. And they are the ones that would be able to train, mentor, and implement programs without having to come to the GSO. And then launching and localizing the global campaign to end violence, right? That's one of our major strategic goals moving forward for the future of URI. We want our regions and our local partners to really take a hold of the campaign and to make it their own and to regionalize it. So those are our goals for 2025. They will help us continue this critical work. I want to thank everyone for their commitment to URI's mission to end religiously motivated violence and all forms of violence, I'll add. And I think together we're making incredible strides towards ending violence and building a more peaceful world. Thank you all for everyone's support. I know that this was not an exhaustive list. We will share a bit more of our highlights in our violence prevention community call on the 19th of this month, so in about 2 weeks. So if anyone would like to attend that, I'm happy to share a bit more about everything we've done thus far.
Thank you, Larissa. And that is spotlighting and bringing more light. And one of the things that I was discussing with Alice, that some of the members of our network don't know that they can knock at the door of Larissa or Karen and ask, well, this is the problem of violence that we are exposing in our place. Can you help us? Can you give us a tool? Can you come and present with us? So this is an open door organization because we are a circle and we can always count on each other. I'm conscious that time is passing, that Geoffrey and Sheriff are now with us. Welcome to them. And before we pass to the breakout rooms conversations, because of course, Larissa is spotlighting what we know, and we know that we know so little of what is happening on the ground. So we will have an opportunity to discuss of what is happening on the ground in any of the threefold purposes of URI. But before that, I want to ask Sally, our dear Sally, to bring the experience of writing a book that is so useful for the community. We know that government or political violence or is an issue, especially during times of election. And Sally, who loves democracy, has something to gift to us or to show us.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I feel light. I think light is energy. And I ask, where do action come from? Where does motivation to do good come from? And I feel it's always been a spiritual, it's an inside job. And the other piece is to be light, which we all want to be. We need to see light, and you look for light. You look for it in the sunrises and sunsets, and you look for it in people. And what is sort of the core of people? And our symbol for that is the heart. And so for a long time, I've understood that, yes, democracy is excellent principles for living that give rise to a system of government and governance. And I believe it's something more. There is a new, a deeper future for democracy. And I think it's the practice that URI has been engaging in all of these years. The real people power comes from how we live, the freedom that we're given. What's the purpose of our life? And so I put together a book called The Global Heart of Democracy. So more than a governance system that's, that some countries have and some countries don't, I think that it is a universal quality in human beings to really live, to look for their best motivations and to live with those. So how do you introduce a new idea, especially one as controversial as democracy, because everyone has political and different experiences of it? So I chose to do it through stories. And because of so many extraordinary people that I've had the honor to be with, and everybody on this screen could have been one of the ones I interviewed for this book. I thought stories, finding really what is inside of people, because to me, democracy is something that comes from the inside out. There's a scholar who said it's more than government. It's a fire that burns in the heart of people that binds us together and makes us one. So there are people that we know from URI, Audrey Scott Williams, former global counsel, James Ofu, leader in Cote d'Ivoire, Biswa Deb, Elizabeth from Austria, Hassan from Syria, Luce, who was our translator. And again, these people aren't extraordinary. They just give light. And I noticed their light and I wanted to bring out more of it. And just one thing, I only got this with this call. When you have a prism, the prism refracts the light and you get all these extraordinary colors. So I thought, ooh, the colors on the cover of this book remind me of a prism that helps us see light in all of its many, many colors. So you can find it on Amazon, or you can go to your local bookstore and ask for it. So it's been an honor for me and a joy to put some of the learnings I've gained over the years in URI, and even before that in my teaching career when I taught civics and democracy, into this book. So thank you all, and I am loving to be here today.
The light of wisdom comes from you all the time, and so this is so amazing to have that in a book that can be shared, as you share every day with us and bring that light. And light is everywhere, so we are going to have 15 minutes in breakout rooms to hear the light, because light is not in one part of the world. Light is not only in leadership. Light is not only in a specific project. Light is everywhere, and if we recognize light, we can embrace the light and bring light to others. So we invite you to have good conversations in groups. We bring 2 questions as guide. Leila, do you want to read those questions? I see that you are in the document, so that they change voices.
Yes, thank you all for sharing. And yes, we would like to invite you maybe to the 10 minutes. I'm not sure if we have time for 15, but we would like you to reflect on a question like, as we look back to the year and we listen so many things that happened this year, like what achievements or moments of growth in your eyes stand out to you as an example of the light in the world? And I'm sure there is so many things that you can think of that URI bring as a light to the world. And the second question is, or thing to reflect on, is to reflect on the seasons of light. What hopes or goals do you have for the upcoming year, both in your personal life, but also for us as a URI community. And I will be posting these two questions in a chat so that you can read and have it there, and you can reflect on all these things that you already listened for our beautiful colleagues, and also something that has been on your mind while we were discussing. So those are two questions that we invite you to reflect on, and I think that Maria will be sending us to the small groups so that we can reflect on the light.
Sure, Leila, I'll do that. So one question, what light we have seen this year and what light we want to see in the future. And with those questions summarized, we go, and of course, Leila will copy them. We go to the breakout rooms, have fun during 10 minutes of discussion.
Great. Welcome back. I'm sure time was short, and I had lovely conversation in my small group with Angie and Morgana, and it was beautiful to hear highlights from the Angie who is new to the URI the first year, and Morgana who was there before or when URI become a URI. So it was very beautiful, and I'm sure that all of you had beautiful conversation in your small group. So I think some more people are coming back to our space, Maria, right? But if some of you would like to share what happened in your small groups, what lights did you discover discussing with the colleagues that are maybe new to you or some that you know for so many years?
Anyone want to share the light that experience in the call?
Sí, sí, sí. La
Dale,
verdad,
Rosalía.
cortita la conversación, pero no fue casual, fue causal. Entonces, la persona sheriff que estaba ahí estudia a las minorías ocultas. Bueno, ya no soy oculta. Nos encontramos para salir. Eso fue grandioso con el profesor.
Wow, Rosalia. So this is URI, right? Rosalia is in Argentina. She's from indigenous community, met with sheriff in Egypt, and they had an amazing encounter, even short.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure there were so many lights in all these small conversation, and thank you all from bringing them. And I'm sure that you got inspired by listening some of your colleagues or just maybe reflecting by yourself. We are living so in a rush and there is so many things happening. And as we heard earlier, there's so many things going on in our community and so many exciting things in front of us that we sometimes forget to stop and to reflect on what has been happening, what are some of our dreams and aspirations, and just to appreciate and acknowledge ourselves as a small but very significant piece in the life, especially us who are peace builders and who wants to bring the light. So I really want to acknowledge all of you on this call and to thank you for being light in your communities, for bringing light for so many years in different forms and ways. And thank you for sharing the space today with us. I think we have a few more minutes if someone would like to unmute and share how was the experience. And if not, I would like to pass a floor to Maria for the last few pieces of our program today.
And I am a little bit teacher, right? So I want to come and say, Geoffrey, we didn't hear from you. I know that we had a round of conversation, and Geoffrey, if you want to share something, and perhaps Edwin, I think it is the first time I see you in a community call. So if you want to open your mic and share briefly, I'd love to. So Geoffrey, I see that you unmuted yourself.
Yeah, thank you very much, Malia. Yeah, I mean, my group, of course, we had Sally, Edwin, and some of the friends. I'll simply highlight what I shared. What also inspired me this year is that we are now closer to be recognized by the government of Malawi. Our effort has been in vain, but now it's fully recognized. I'm saying this because we have been invited to many high-level meetings of designing the peace system of the country, and now we are in the process of designing national peace architecture, which will be involving the faith leaders to shape the peace of the country. So that's what I've been sharing here and there. For the interest of time, I think that's what I shared. and also acknowledging the effort of the citizens on the ground. You see some of them who organize their own youth parliament, challenging some of the environmental impact which is happening now. The young guys of age 20, 17, 15 voice out. It's so inspiring to me as a reader. And so many activities around. But as we are going, I wanted to buy the idea of Edwin. He said about election tension, which happened in Kenya. So I wanted also to connect separately with him because he used the way to say we are now approaching the system of violence, maybe reduction, or he used a certain tongue. I'm not sure how he said, but to interrupt the violence and the replacing with peace system. So that sounds okay to me because next year we are having election in the country and we are already in that temperature already. Though we are having so many meetings with OPC and the other high-level government officials and the religious actors, but we need to have a good strategic from our friends who faced it already. How can we do better in terms of enhancing peace instead of violence? So thank you, Malia, and thank you everyone for giving me this space. Thank you.
Thank you, Geoffrey. You are light in Malawi for sure. Edwin, anything to share from Kenya, from Kibera? You are muted, Edwin. You cannot unmute yourself. Small mic. Edwin. I don't see that the mic is coming up.
Hello.
Yes, Edwin.
Good. Thank you very much. I'm actually very happy to be able to connect to this particular meeting because, as you said, it's the first time you're seeing me here. Because coming from a slum like mine, sometimes we have challenges with internet, sometimes with electricity. We have all this particular challenge. But I'm very happy this time to have this opportunity to meet all of you and to be part of this wonderful meeting. Actually, I've really learned a lot, and I'm actually very happy with the presentation, especially on this issue of democracy and how we can ensure that we have peace. Because as I shared, because here in Kenya now, there's a lot of tension because you see, we have the government that does not listen. And in the world, you saw the way young people were very hungry. They wanted to storm the state house. They went to the parliament. So there have been a lot of chaos and issues here and there. Now the religious leaders also came to correct the government on the things that they are doing. But now it's like also the government is annoyed, and now the situation is not good because they are now throwing words here and there from religious leaders to the government to the young people. So everybody is looking for his space to ensure that we have a peaceful nation. So what you are doing, especially because coming from a slum of Kibra, because the politicians, most of the time, they take advantage of our situation. Because when they want people who are idle, so many people and young people, they will come to the slum where they can give our young people a few coins, like 100 shillings or 200 shillings, and they'll be used to bring chaos, or they will use them for their own benefits in different ways. So what we are doing, and the program that I like mostly, is to give them skills on alternative ways to violence. That which ways can we use instead of violence to ensure that we address the issues that we have. So actually, mostly we engage young people, local leaders, and different people in our community on these particular trainings. Because with these skills, we will move slowly by slowly to ensure that our voices are heard, but without using violence. Because sometimes when we're using violence, we lose a lot. Our young people are killed with the government, and you find that we lose a lot of life. A lot of distractions happens. So what we are trying is to ensure that let us find ways that we can use to address our issues without being violent. So thank you, and I'm happy to be here.
What a model to bring light to the slum, to bring light to the children you are feeding and you are providing education. It's always so good to see the light in their smiles through the work that you are doing through the cooperation circles.
Thank you very much.
And I think we close with light. So the door to light is not closed. Let's continue being the light and helping URI to be the light in a world that is going through difficult situations. Abraham, do you want to say something? I see you unmuted.
We send Christmas season's greetings and light from India.
Beautiful light from India. It's a light for us in URI, of course. Before leaving, I am opening a poll for you to answer 4 questions very easily so that we learn how to move forward with these calls. So I'm doing that right now. If you can open the poll and respond these questions, that would be helpful for us. And continue to be the light because the world desperately needs that light. Be blessed. Thank you, Leila, it's great always to work with you. Thank you to the presenters. And of course, a round of applause to our dear Wanda, who for an hour and a half translated into Spanish back and forth.
Yeah. Huge thank you, Wanda. Thank you, everyone. And if you want
Thank you, Sally
more
and
light,
Leila. Bye-bye.
thank you.
Thank you,
If you
thank you,
want to
Sally.
experience
Thank you, Leila.
more light, there will be more
Gracias,
activities happening. So
Wanda,
follow
por
our
la
social
traducción.
media.
Bye to everyone. Hope to see you on 19th.
Love, love, love. Thank you.
Lovely, Lynn. Thank you for your contribution.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you.
God bless you, everyone.
And thank you, everyone.
Thank you, bye.
Big thank you, Wanda, for bearing with us.
Gracias, Rosalía.
Gracias, gracias. No puedo salir.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Joel.
Okay,
See you
thank you.
soon in a call that you organize. You are a light in North America.
Okay.
Thank you all. Take good care.
Thank you. Gracias.
Okay, thank you. Thank you to everyone. You did a lot of role in 2014. And hopefully we will.
Thank you for your feedback on our community call. So, Maria, I think we can learn from what has been shared with us. Thank you all. Take good care. Bye-bye.
Take good care. Thank you, Morgana. Continue to be the light in Netherlands and wherever. You are the traveling light because we see you here and there, right?
Everywhere.
Morgana,
I'm going to be home for about at least a month.
Okay, that's a good record, Morgana.
Hang on, my cat. Sorry?
It's a good record for you to be 1 month in the same place.
Yeah. So I'm trying to consolidate a lot of things. Of course, I've just come back from Azerbaijan. So there's a lot of stuff going on with follow-up and what have you. I was just talking to Leila. We had a meeting yesterday with one of our CCs. So there's a lot of kind of follow-up going on. You'll be hearing from us, I hope.
And you need lights because it is so cold there, it seems.
Yeah, it looks really. Lynn, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. You said you're in America. I've put my email address in a